Okay, let's graph the function. F of x is equal to the square root of x minus 1. I'm going to use a table here. I do want to keep in mind that choosing the x values I should be really careful with. Okay, remember we can't have a negative under a square root. Okay, yeah, we kind of can, but we don't when we're trying to do graphing. Okay, typically when we're graphing, we're dealing with real numbers. So if you have, plugged in a 0 for x, well then you end up with the square root of -1, and that's a problem because that's an imaginary number. Okay, we don't want that. Okay, so let's be smart. We want the square root of some positive perfect square numbers. Okay, and so numbers that we know would be, say, 0, right? We want to get the square root of 0. That one's fine. The square root of 1 is fine. The square root of 4 is fine. The square root of 9, and so on. Okay, square root of 16, and so on. The reason why I'm doing this is because these are my desired y values. So I'm kind of going to do this one backwards. Because now I'm going to ask myself, what would I have to plug in for x to get 0 down here? X minus 1 equals 0, so then what is x? 1. Okay, for this one here, I want to plug in something to where when I subtract 1, I get 1. So x minus 1 equals 1. What does x have to be? 2, right? Because 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay, I'm just adding 1, right? What minus 1 is equal to 4? 5. What minus 1 is equal to 9? 10. Okay, so that's how I made my points here. Okay, I was really careful with that. You could do it the regular way, but most of the time you're going to end up with some decimals, right? And you can't really plot those very well. Okay, so let's plot these points. 1, 0, 2, 1, 5, 2, 10, 3, about right there. Okay, and that's what this graph looks like. Kind of looks like half of a parabola, all right, a quadratic turned on its side.